Hey and welcome to this jazz guitar lesson, third lesson on the standard I Can't Give You Anything But Love. If you missed my other lessons, link in the description. We're going to look at my idea of what I call note pool soloing, or being a bit more general with your soloing. So when you're playing over chord changes, I think there's a few different ways you can obviously do it, right? You can use scales, you can use arpeggios. You can be very detailed and be like, over this chord I'm going to play the chord tones, over this one I'm going to use that scale, and so forth. Or you can be less specific and be more general. And being general could be like, well, this song's in the key of G, so I'm going to predominantly just think about using G major scale. So G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, back to G. Just like that. And you could try and use that over as much as you can in the song. Then, obviously, being jazz, things are never that straightforward. We have some chords which are non-diatonic or out of key, and looking at my chart here you can see the red chords are kind of bits are out of key and the blue chords is in key. So what we're going to do is think G major when it's the blue chords, and then when it's the red chords we're going to just add one note or focus on one note to target for that chord. But within that G major scale there's some notes which are more important than others. So you've got G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G. The most important notes being the triad G, B, D, G, B, D, 1, 3, 5, the first, third and fifth note of that scale, G, B, D. Those are the notes you're going to probably resolve your G-based phrases to. They're going to sound strong and good against those changes. You've got this obviously full scale with 7 notes. Now, when you practice over the changes, you'll realise that some notes sound better at certain times. There's obviously something behind that there to investigate. So you're going to use that G major scale to create phrases, just with the knowledge that the G, B and D are kind of important notes in it. And obviously some notes sound better at other times. Like I'm talking about the other notes here, like say the A and the C, they will work better against certain chords. But for now, just focus on creating phrases and use your ear to hear which notes work better where. You might naturally be drawn to certain notes at certain points. Now looking at my chart here, the chords which are out of key are B flat diminished, D minor 7, G7, A7, E7 and C sharp diminished. So we've got a few. So I call it a note pool because I'm going to add some notes to that G, and then that's going to be our pool of notes from which we draw. So here's the note pool on the screen. So the black and red, right, is the G major scale, the red being the root note of that scale. The blue are the additional notes you're going to add in when you need to. So we've got G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G is the major scale, G, B, D the most important notes of those. Then we've got G sharp, fret 6 there on the D string. Now the G sharp, when there's an E7 later on in the song, that would be a good note to target. The B flat, when it's a B flat diminished, you could always go for that one. The C sharp, there's 2 there because you could play it in both there. That's good for the A7. And the F is good for the D minor 7 and G7. But let me illustrate this. So if you took the first 2 lines, there's just that B flat chord out of key. So you could reach for the note B flat there. So it could be like G idea. Then put the B flat in, listen. Then back to G. Next line. There's the B flat. So you can hear there that B flat comes in just as a note to target when the B flat chord is there. But the B flat chord's quite fleeting. You could just ignore it. But on the next, in the B section, D minor 7 to G7 to C, there's a real note you want to go for there, which is F, because that line really is, well, it's a 2-5-1 in C, and C doesn't have the note F sharp in it, but it has an F in it. So what you probably wouldn't want to do is play an F sharp against the D minor 7 or the G7, it would clash. Not to say it can be used as a passing note, but F would be a natural choice. So I'm going to target the note F when I get to there. And then in that next line, A7 comes in out of key. The note out of key in that chord is C sharp, so we could use the C sharp against that chord like I've written on the chart, and then we're back to G. So if I play to my backing here, and when the red stuff comes up, I'm going to target that note. Everywhere else, I'm just going to use the G scale, probably thinking most about G, B, and D. F. Now I'm going to need C sharp. Back to G scale. Very simple ideas, but I'm sure you could hear those out of key notes. So we've got the overall note pull, but just pulling out, I pulled out the B flat against the B flat diminished. I pulled out the F over the D minor 7 and the G7, and then I pulled out the C sharp over the A7. Next section of the tune is another A section, so you're going to do the same. So when the B flat diminished chord comes around, you can target B flat, the D minor 7 to G7. F's a good choice to bring in. Not to say it's the only note to use, but to bring in and maybe avoid the F sharp. So the C section, we've got C, 6/9, that's in the key of G, so that's fine. C sharp diminished, target that C sharp note again. G, we're back to G scale, but then the E7 has the note G sharp in it, so we're going to target G sharp there. Then we're back to A minor 7, D7, all in the key of G. Apart from this G sharp diminished where you could reach for a G sharp note. Let's see what that sounds like. C sharp, G sharp, then back to G major, G sharp. I'll play over the form once too, just so you can hear this in action through the whole thing. Let's get that B flat. There. It's F. C sharp. G. F. C sharp. G sharp. F, C sharp, G, F, C sharp, there, G sharp. Obviously you could use more of the neck as well, yeah? I'm just sticking to one area just for the ease of showing this to you guys, but I suppose I'm playing within myself there in the sense that the thing is that I'm playing with restraint just to demonstrate an idea. I'm not to say that would be my solo over it, but I just wanted to really clearly illustrate. Here's G, I'm bringing in the C sharp there or the F there. I would probably phrase more with it and do more with it and combine it with other notes, but I just want to make it super obvious that you've got this pool of notes with 7 of them being, good most of the time, and then just occasionally to outline the harmony you need to bring in like the C sharp, the G sharp or the B flat. If you don't, it just won't sound like you're playing to the chords. There'd be a disconnect. So something to try. I did a previous lesson on this topic with the tune Lady Be Good in the same key, so I'll put a link in the description and I'll put it on the screen now for you if you want to check that out as another opportunity to sort of work through this method. It's in the same key, so probably quite a good thing to do if you like this method. Leave me any questions below, any comments, hit the like button. Jazz guitar lessons every Wednesday, every Saturdays. Thank you so much for your support for the channel, much appreciated. PDFs in the description. See you next time.